Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's talk today about a skill that most people are never explicitly taught, and that tends to become more valuable the further into life you go. We are taught, from early on, how to express ourselves, how to articulate an opinion, make an argument, share a perspective, hold our own in a conversation. These are considered marks of competence and confidence. And rightly so. What is almost never taught with equal emphasis is the complementary skill, knowing when to say nothing, when to listen without simultaneously preparing a response, when to let silence do what words cannot, when the most intelligent and most effective thing available is simply to be quiet. Most people, if they are honest, have a complicated relationship with silence in conversation. When someone shares a difficulty, the instinct is to immediately offer advice. When a story is being told, the mind is often already selecting the related story it will contribute once there is an opening. When disagreement is felt, the reflex is to begin assembling the defense before the other person has finished making their point. These are not failures of character. They are extremely common habits, shaped by a culture that consistently rewards speaking and rarely specifically rewards the quality of listening. But they have costs, and those costs show up in the quality of conversations, in the depth of relationships, and in the number of things said that a short time later the speaker wishes had been left unsaid. The Buddhist concept of right speech, one of the elements of the Eightfold Path, does not only address what is said, but the conditions under which it is said. The question asked before speaking is not only is this true, but is it timely, is it kind, is it necessary, and is it the moment? This last condition is perhaps the most practically useful. Many things that are true and even important are not improved by being said immediately. They benefit from the pause, from the space between the impulse to speak and the actual speaking, in which something can be checked and adjusted and considered more fully. The pause is not weakness or uncertainty. It is the space in which genuine wisdom has room to operate before words go out into the world and produce consequences that cannot be recalled. The Taoists were direct about this, in a way that still surprises people encountering it for the first time. The Tao Te Ching observes that those who know do not speak, and those who speak do not know, a statement that is deliberately provocative and not meant to be taken entirely literally, but that points towards something real. Genuine understanding tends to produce a certain quality of stillness, a willingness to observe and receive before responding, a recognition that the situation usually contains more than the first impression suggests, and that speaking before that fuller picture has formed tends to add noise rather than clarity. The person who is most at ease with silence in a room is rarely the least confident person there. There is also a dimension of this that relates to energy. Every explanation offered to someone who was not genuinely asking, every defense mounted against a criticism that did not deserve engagement, every argument pursued to its conclusion with someone who was committed to not understanding, all of these cost something real. The Taoists would describe it as unnecessary expenditure of vital energy on things that do not serve you, the equivalent of rowing upstream when the current is running the other direction. Maturity in conversation is, in significant part, the development of the ability to distinguish between what genuinely requires your response and what is simply pulling for it. Not everything does. Some provocations are best met with silence. Some misunderstandings are better left uncorrected than explained at length to the wrong audience. Some arguments, regardless of their logical merit, are not worth having. Genuine listening, the kind that is actually rare and actually valuable, is something different from waiting politely for your turn to speak. It is the quality of attention that makes the other person feel genuinely received rather than merely heard. It involves being actually curious about what they are saying, rather than already certain about what it means. It involves the willingness to be surprised, to have your understanding of the situation shifted by what you learn, to arrive at the end of the conversation in a slightly different place than you were at the beginning. This quality of listening is, for most people, the most meaningful gift another person can offer them in conversation, more than advice, more than eloquence, more than the reassurance of being agreed with. And it is only available when the listener has genuinely quieted the part of the mind that is already composing its response. There is one more dimension worth naming, which is the listening that turns inward. The same habit of continuous speaking and continuous reacting that characterizes many external conversations also applies to the internal one. The mind that is always producing commentary, always explaining and justifying and analyzing, has very little space for the quieter signals, the intuitive recognitions, the feelings that need attending to, the genuine sense of what is right or wrong for you that the noise consistently drowns out. Silence is not only what you offer other people in conversation, it is what you offer yourself when you stop talking long enough to actually hear what is there. As we close today, I want to leave you with 3 questions worth carrying into your conversations for the rest of this week. Before you speak, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? Does it need to be said by me? Not as a script to follow, but as a genuine pause, a moment of honest checking before the words go out. You may be surprised by how often the answer to at least one of those questions is no. And in that no, there is more peace, more wisdom, and more genuine connection than most of what the yes would have produced. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.